Hey everybody, this is Perch. Current comic news. We have kind of two larger announcements in comics. One for Batman, one for Captain America. And there's a few things to unpack with both. First off, it's basically the sex criminals team of Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky who have been named the writers on each respective book. Matt Fraction will be on Batman with Jorge Jimenez, and Chip Zdarsky will be on Captain America with Valerio Schiti. And that both books, technically, I may be giving misinformation on the second one, but I don't think so. The news reports I've seen hasn't said one way or another, but I think it's safe to believe that it's true. But both issues are starting over as brand new number one relaunches. We're getting a Batman number one from Fraction and a Captain America number one from Zdarsky. And both titles are kind of promising a kind of big return to form. There's a little bit of a dueling. This is going to be a bold new era. They kind of say it for every relaunch, but in this case, you do have the sense that the industry is trying to come up with something bigger. For Batman, it's coming off of what was a let's say mixed Zdarsky run. It wasn't. It was received poorly, I would say. I mean, it still sold well, so I don't know. What does received poorly mean when it still sells well? But all the same, it didn't quite stick the landing in a way that I think DC assumed it would, particularly coming off of a fairly highly successful touted run on Daredevil. And so you're getting this Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, Hush 2 sequel series, Jim Lee returning to Interiors for the first time in a long time. And then the eyes were on like, okay, so what's DC going to do now with Batman? What's it going to relaunch to? And so the answer is this number one Batman relaunch with Fraction. So Fraction was the author. And if you're a long-term listener of the Perch show, I mentioned that I slipped up and mentioned this news about 2 months ago, but you may remember it if you go back. Who's going to go back and listen to all those videos? But anyway, I mentioned this, and I mentioned it as well on Thinking Critical on one of those live stream shows, and just kind of got laughed out of the room. So anyway, who's laughing now, boys? But whatever. The pitch for Batman number one is that it's going to be a very, quote, superhero forward kind of take on Batman. And a lot of the attention and the press that DC's putting out is pointing out the gray and the blue costume, that we're bringing blue back in to the color scheme of Batman, which really kind of harkens to some of the Silver Age aspects of the character. It's also, in Fraction's words, we're going to get a brand new redesigned Gotham. In his words, it's going to have a pop influence, which I shouldn't be terrified by, and I don't want to be the person who's like, Batman and Gotham should be dark and gothic, and that's what it should be. But we're getting a pop influence while still maintaining some of the old architecture. We'll see. How will that all go together? I don't know. I get mixed feelings when comic writers start talking about the architecture as being a big part of the story. On one hand, I appreciate the completeness, and I like the fact that they're thinking beyond just the characters. It's really kind of a well-rounded view of what's happening. On the other hand, I don't know. Does it matter that much? I mean, it does, but I'm of two minds of it. It's going to have a brand new Batmobile, and all the stuff that Batman makes Batman the coolest character in all of comics is the line. We're going to get a variety of new characters and old characters, and I mean, a lot of the announcement is, pretty much standard. I mean, you could kind of look at the last 4 or 5 creative team announcements on Batman, you get about the same. The one thing that's kind of flying under the radar a little bit is the promise that each comic will tell connected but self-contained stories. In other words, done in one. The last time we saw this on a more major title was Jonathan Hickman for X-Men, where the flagship title, the one he wrote, every issue was a done in one, but some of them, left dangling plot threads that we're going to get addressed later. So anyway, we'll see what all that looks like. Again, if I'm going to read you the quote from Fraction, it says, "I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Batman. It was the first comic I ever read. Curse you, Batman. No, I'm kidding. Fraction says in the press release, I have nothing against Matt Fraction. As many of you know, there's a bit of a relationship there from the way back. Jorge and I have a very superhero forward take on Batman. We've got a brand new Batmobile. We've got a new costume. We've got new characters. We've got a lot of old ones too, good and bad. All the stuff that makes Batman the coolest characters in comics. We want to celebrate it all. For this new chapter, we're crafting a revamp aesthetic, bringing back Batman's blue suit in a definitive way. He's wearing it. That's the definitive way. He's putting it on. Anyway, Jorge Jimenez adds, it's a small shift meant to feel both classic and fresh, subtly evolving while staying true to the original design we've used in recent years. At the same time, I'm working on Gotham City's visual identity, giving it a fresh approach that sets it apart from my previous takes. I'm aiming for a slight pop reference influence, something that subtly nods to classic stories while keeping the dark and ominous feel of contemporary Batman. Everything old is new again. They didn't use that quote, but, why didn't they? Anyway, Batman #1 launches in September, and the current Batman series will continue on with issue 158 on March 26th, which will see Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Scott Williams doing their thing. So that's more or less what we have. We'll see where it goes from there. This is a new ongoing series. Look at that Batman. Anyway, on the other part of the news, we have Captain America. Now, Captain America, again, there's a similar but different aspect of this. So Chip Zdarsky, who was just writing Batman, is moving on over to Captain America, and he promises a story that is going back and retconning a bit. It's showing what happens when Steve Rogers was first unfrozen. Now, as we all know, what happened when Steve Rogers was first unfrozen is that the Avengers kind of had him on that table. They brushed the seaweed off of him, and then the Wasp was horny. And that's what happened when he first was unfrozen. I'm not kidding about any of that, by the way. You go read that issue. I always love, this guy's coming up. It's like, is he alive? I think so. He may be a corpse, though. He's old. It's Captain America's costume. And Wasp's like, he's dreamy. Look at those muscles. It's like, goddamn, Wasp, dial it down. Anyway, so in this, we're getting this flashback to the earliest days of the modern Marvel Universe, revisiting the time between when he was unfrozen by the Avengers and when he joined the team. Now, in the comic book, he kind of joined the team immediately, but, using Marvel time, as one day in the Marvel Universe equals, 50 years in the regular universe. It's that sliding timeline. They're basically going to reveal he went on a number of secret missions and all the rest. They're going to add a lot of space between the moments of when he joined the team in Avengers #4 and when he was unfrozen. And, one nice thing about this announcement, what is he going to do? His first mission will pit him against none other than, and wait for it, it's a villain that Marvel's doing nothing with right now, Dr. Doom. So, what the hell, Marvel? You go several years with no Dr. Doom. Like, he's pretty much doesn't exist. You don't do anything with him, everything else. Then Ryan North brings him into Fantastic Four. We get a big storyline that ultimately has culminated in him being the Sorcerer Supreme. He's the big summer event, Dr. Doom. And so we're going to relaunch Captain America, new #1, put Zdarsky on it. Valero's a great artist. What do we do? Let's use Dr. Doom. I just what the hell? I can't tell if this is synergy or overuse. I have a feeling, by the time all this is done, it's just going to be annoying. The other problem is you're building up Doom as an epic threat. And in Captain America's relaunch, Captain America is going against Dr. Doom. Obviously, Captain America has to be successful in this series. So Doom's going to just suffer multiple losses right away. Peasants, how dare you not kneel before Doom? Anyway, it's a strange choice, but okay, why not? Somebody in one of the articles is like, and we'll see if Captain America can fight other villains like Ultron. Okay, I understand that history and time is goofy on people, but Hank Pym made Ultron. Post like that wouldn't work from the timeline of Captain America getting unfrozen. Anyway, the art looks good in the promo issue. Zdarsky, who clearly wrote his comments while sitting next to Matt in a bar somewhere up in Vancouver, said, I've been a massive Captain America fan for decades. I loved writing the old grizzled old cap in Captain America. I've just screwed that up. I love writing the grizzled old Cap in Avengers Twilight, so getting to write the actual Captain America title feels like a dream. Zdarsky says in a statement accompanying the announcement. We're exploring Cap's early days in the modern era with a twist I think is really going to surprise readers. I've been approaching this title the way I approach my run on Daredevil, tried to really get into Cap's head and a grounded human look of who he is in this new world. Steve Rogers is the best of us, and I want that to come through in every page. This answers the question if unfrozen Captain America is going to wake up, immediately look at the modern world and be like, oh my God, the black people can vote. I, Captain America, many, many times, this wasn't a retcon, was shown as, not being a racist. So I say that kind of tongue in cheek because Marvel has done everything but just go all in on the idea that, old man Steve Rogers might be a little wacky. I mean, they in the head. So I'm glad, cool. I'm joking about that. You do wonder. I do think there's new ground to cover, by the way, with Captain America and like what was his first experience. They always go to like, oh my God, here's music, and I want to do ballroom dancing, and where's Peggy Carter? I'd like to bone her, and and then he's like, this Nirvana is not too bad, and I just think there's more to just he experiences music and movies and things for the first time. I mean, anyway, whatever. I'm off failed. Okay, so he says Captain America all-time favorite. Okay. I'm reuniting with this is Valerio. I'm reuniting with Zdarsky and Frank Martin after the amazing experience of Marvel 2-in-1, and I'm working on a story that strikes a perfect balance between heart, action, and entertainment. The thing I'm most excited and unexpected is I found myself thinking more and more about Steve Rogers instead of just Captain America. Chip's script is so clever and compelling, I'm sure readers will be dragged with us inside Steve's heart and soul. I wonder if he'll question America at some point during this run. Anyway, that's what we got. We got 2 series. One, Batman at Fraction, done in 1 issues that will have some connective tissue between them. The other, Captain America, the gimmick there is that it's all set in the past. So, looking forward to seeing how these issues roll out. Definitely, art team is good. Writers have been good at times. There's been things they've done that have been good. There have been times they've put absolute shit. We'll see which way it goes. Zdarsky seems to alternate, right? I think his Daredevil run was good. I think his Batman run wasn't. So maybe, now we're getting a good Captain America run. But who knows? Fraction, we haven't seen him really knock anything out of the park in a while. His indie work has been good at times. I think the stuff that he seems to be most excited about is the stuff that I think lands the worst. But anyway, we'll see. I admit I don't love the done in 1 issues. I think I don't know. I just don't think that's the right thing comics needs at the moment. I think that turns out bad more than good most of the time. Captain America in the past, I mean, okay. If that's an arc or 2, fine. I think I would have rather seen hey, we're really going to do something cool with Captain America in the modern age, and we're going to alternate arcs with, back in the past for 6 issues, and then current time in 6 issues. And the gimmick would be something is going on in the past that's happening in like a subplot that's going to rear its head in the future, and, you get 50 issues out of that. But, well, such is the world. What do you think? Are you buying either of these? They excite you? Are you excited we're doing something with the characters? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.